Hey guys, this is Mr. Sal. We're going to be looking over these problems. Now these are all one-step applications for 7.3. But that also means that these are problems that we should have seen similar ones to before in the previous units. Because for the most part, we may have done two operations, especially with the integers in Module 6. But right now it's looking like it's just one-step expressions, which we should be able to solve pretty quickly. So this one, the Hudson River in New York State is 306 miles long. The Snake River in the northwestern United States is 732 miles longer than the Hudson. How long is the Snake River? Well, if it's that much longer than the Hudson, we have to look at the Hudson's length, which is 306 miles. Now it says that it's not 732 miles, but 732 miles longer, which means we need to add 732 to the 306. All right, and yeah, if you wanted to, you could just, since we know it's addition now, if you wanted to write it as plus 732, you could. In any case, you should get the 8 there, the 3, and the 10. So it's 1,038 miles. All right, this next problem, one tablespoon of olive oil contains 125 calories. How many calories are in 3 tablespoons of olive oil? So 1 tablespoon contains 125 calories, right? But we've got 3 of these, so it's like saying we got 3 sets of 125, which means this is a multiplication problem. So we're going to take the 125 and multiply it by 3 multiplied. And 5 times 3 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 1 is 3. So 375. Remember, the answer is not 375 for a word problem like this. It's 375 calories. Next up, Pietro, I hope I said that right, earned $4,800 last month. He spent 2/3 of it on bills. How much did he spend on bills? So we're going to take the amount he earned here at 4,800, and it's 2/3 of that. So if we remember, of usually indicates multiplication. So of the 2/3 means I'm going to multiply this by 2/3. Now if we go back, making this fraction multiplication problem, and yeah, you could say I'm going to cross simplify at this point. It doesn't really matter. But right here I'd do 2 times 4,800, which is 9,600. And then 3 times 1 is 3. So this then becomes a problem of 9,600 divided by 3. And 3 goes into 9 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9, so that cancels that out. And then I'll drop the 6. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6, so that cancels that. And then that's 0, so I'm just going to drop the 2 zeros here, which means that 3 goes into 0 0 times. So I'm going to replace zeros into those 2 place values into the tens and hundreds. Now again, this is a word problem, so the answer is not 3,200. It is $3,200. Next, the Oroville Dam is the tallest dam in the United States at 754 feet. The Hoover Dam is 726 feet high. How much taller is the Oroville Dam than the Hoover Dam? Now, for ones like this, and maybe I could have used some diagrams on that last one, is a diagram may be useful for it, okay? So, like if this was the Hoover at 726, then we got the Oroville Dam, which is taller than it, right? At 754. Now, by asking how much taller it is we got to figure out the difference between the two, which means we're going to take the Oroville Dam height at 754 feet and the Hoover Dam at 726 feet and subtract the two. That will tell us the difference between the two. And just doing the subtraction on this, I'll borrow from the 5. 14 minus 6 is 8. 4 minus 2 is 2, and 7 minus 7 is 0. So this one, it's 28 feet, which is okay as an answer. All right. However, I'm going to just write it out. The Oroville Dam is 28 feet taller than the Hoover Dam. But again, if you just wrote that as 28 feet, that's okay. Next up, before Christmas, Benito lost 15 pounds and then gained 7 pounds afterwards. What is the total change in weight relative to his original weight? Well, the loss of 15 pounds would show a negative, and then 15 pounds. So negative 15 would be that quantity, and then gaining would be a positive 7. Now we're combining these to see what his total weight change was. And right here, I know I've got more negatives than positives, and we're adding two values with different signs. So I just keep the sign of the number that's biggest, and then I subtract the two values. Big one minus a small one. 15 minus 7 is 8. So negative 8, and again, you could just label this in pounds. Again, we could describe it as well. And just say Benito lost 8 pounds. And again, the lost part of that would come from the negative, from negative 8 pounds. Next up, and the last one for this page, Don made 8 quarts of punch for a wedding party. If each glass holds 4/9 of a quart, how many glasses of punch can she serve? So we're asking, really, how many glasses? Well, what is a glass? It's 4/9 of a quart. We're asking how many 4/9 are in 8 quarts of punch. So again, just going back to the lesson we had on this one, how many of something in something else would indicate division. And what are we dividing? Well, we're taking the 8 quarts here and dividing it into 4/9 quarts here. So it is a division problem, but remember, with division problems, we don't usually divide. We're going to change this to multiplication and reciprocate the fraction to be 9/4. Now going back to this lesson, if we change that to 8 over 1, we could do some cross simplification on this one, which hopefully is okay if we do that right now because we've done plenty of it. 8 and 4 is going to simplify to a 2 and 1 right there. And now the multiplication part of this, 2 times 9 is 18. 1 times 1 is 1. So we'll just write it as 18. And it was how many glasses of punch. So you could say glasses if you want, or glasses of punch. I am just going to keep this as glasses though. Alright, so this is the next page. Maya has 5/8 of a foot of ribbon for a project. She needs a piece of ribbon that is 3/12 of a foot long. How much ribbon will she need to cut off? Now, I think this question has an obvious answer, right? And it's not really meant to go that way. 5/8, if you cut 3/12 off, then you have the ribbon that she needs. So you could say 3/12 of a foot. Which, again, I would kind of be okay with because that's the way this is worded. But what we really kind of are asking here is after cutting off 3/12 of a foot from the ribbon that she has, how much is left over? So we're going to take the amount that she has, which is 5/8. And since we're cutting off 3/12 of a foot, we're going to just subtract that off of the 5/8. Now we need common denominators for these, and yes, you could simplify the 3/12. Some of you guys noticed that, and if you did, that'd be fine. You should get the same answer, but I'm going to proceed as though we didn't notice that, okay? So I need common denominators on this thing first. And I'm going to use the lowest common denominator, which in this case is 24. Now 24 means that, of course, both fractions will have denominators of 24, and we'll keep the operation of subtraction. But I would take the 8, and I'd have to multiply it by 3. So the 5 by 3 as well, which makes that 15/24. The 12, I'd have to multiply that by 2, so the 3 by 2 as well makes that a 6. Now, I have a common denominator of 24, but my numerators I can subtract 15 minus 6, which is 9. So now it shows as 9/24, but again, whenever we work with fractions like this, we should just see if it is possible for these to be simplified. And 9 and 24 are both divisible by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 24 divided by 3 is 8. So this right here would be our final answer for this problem, 3/8. Alright, now our last problem for this classwork, a grocery stocker is trying to put 290 cans of soup into cases. If each case holds 36 cans, how many cases will be completely full? How many cans will be left over? Alright, so how many cases will be completely full, right? And each case holds 36 cans. So this is really asking how many groups of 36 are in 290. So again, how many of something is in something else? That's a division problem. And we're asking how many 36s are in 290. So I got 290 divided by 36. So we'll do the long division over here. 290 divided by 36. And 36, I'm not too familiar with my multiplication tables of 36, so I'm just going to list them out here on the right. Alright, so it looks like 36 will go into 290. So I've written out the multiples of 36. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times. 8 times 36 is 288. So this also means that I have a remainder of 2. So, how many cases will be completely full? That's the 8. And then again, we're showing the 2 cans left over. So 8 cases completely full and 2 cans left over. That answers both of those questions. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. If not, just let me know. Ask me whatever questions you got, and we'll see you in the next video.